So, Carlos, you're originally from Brazil.
Yes, I'm from Brazil.
When did you first come to the United States?
I was 12 years old when I first came.
And how old are you now?
21.
And your family moved to America. Why did they come to America?
I had family in America previously. My aunt had moved here about 20 years ago. So then I came here with my mom. I don't have a dad. So me and my mom came to visit. We saw the opportunities and we decided to stay.
Now, how long have you had the DACA?
2 years.
2 years now.
Yes.
So up to that point, and it was around the time when you were applying for college, or you got DACA after you were already trying to get into school?
I got DACA after, so I graduated in 2014, and then at that point I had no DACA. So I, got accepted into a few schools, but then, I figured out the whole financial aid process and taking a loan out of the bank, and I couldn't do that. So I went on to community college, and in community college, that's when I received DACA. About a year ago, I thought to myself about this whole DACA situation and, how me getting a job might be complicated in the future due to, DACA being dissolved. So I thought to myself, if I start a company now, I can guarantee something for my future that, regardless of me having papers or not, I'll be able to work by myself and, make money on my own rather than depend upon a job to make money.
I am DACA. I definitely want DACA to have their citizenship because that's definitely going to be helpful. Specifically relating back to the pandemic, they weren't much help for the immigrants. So that was something that should be focused on and worked for because they all deserve rights. There's so many people that are paying taxes and they're helping the economically United States and they weren't able to get much back. So that should be focused on.
When you got DACA came in 2012. Where were you in your career?
So once I got it is when I actually got the opportunity to go to LA. So they kind of just coincided beautifully with just timing wise. Like I literally got my DACA and about 2 months later I was in LA.
You eventually connected with Beyonce.
I think it was one of those beautiful moments for me because it was the first time I felt like I was good at what I did. Because I'm in a room with people that are really like, these are people who have like 7 number ones under their belt, like millions of records sold. And they were looking at me like, hey, bring him into the room or invite him back to the room.
You made 2 songs on the project, Don't Jealous Me and Water. And you actually performed the song and are in the movie for Don't Jealous.
Yeah.
And your song Water, it's performed by Beyonce and Pharrell Williams.
I say it all the time, like, wow, like Beyonce's singing words I wrote. And I'm just always enamored because I built even my artist kind of like my artist brand after people like Pharrell.
Now you make a joke in your stand-up show about DACA. Let's watch a clip.
Right now I have DACA, which is a protected status, which the Supreme Court is going to decide on, which means if it gets repealed, I'm going to lose my driver's license, work permit, and be vulnerable to deportation. It's my new Tinder bio right now. And
Is that really your profile on your Tinder? Well, you're a really funny guy, and I'm sure DACA will eventually work out for you.
I do know they had this program with the DACA program where people who immigrated here and have children, they had programs where they're able to go ahead and get citizenship or green card status. I think that's definitely need to stay in place because if you come into the country illegally, I don't think it matters. As a child, you was born here, so it wasn't your fault that your parents come here illegally. So I think this is something that needs to stay in place, and it should not affect the children of them going to school, getting any kind of green card citizen status. I think that it should be an easy transition for them to continue to live in the United States with not a problem. That's what I would like to see.
You're a DACA recipient. What would you do if you got deported? Where would you go? Where would you live? What do you think about people who are educated here in America, who are giving so much back to America like yourself? How does that make you feel being told you're not welcome?
Very hard to just imagine that, you've been trying to pay it forward. I was able to receive a public education from from the Arizona schools. And then for me, it was about how can I give back? I have received so much that it's my moral responsibility to give back to my community. And now that I feel that I'm doing that, that I created my own business, I'm employing people, I have a mortgage to pay, right? I'm 27, I'm not a child anymore.
Right.
And just thinking about all these things and knowing that everything can be taken away in one day or in a blink of an eye. So it's definitely something that gives me nightmares at night, that keeps me up at night. But at the same time, I know that at the end of the day, I do believe that there's people who support us. There's like over 80% of the American public that are on our side. So for me, it's that people need to see what's happening and people really need to acknowledge what's at stake. And that at the end of the day, we're actually pleading other citizens to pick up the phone, to call their members of Congress, to visit them, and to let them know that this is something that they're not going to stand by.
My speaking out and building community power really came about during the attacks after the administration was very vocal about going after immigrants and having a very clear cut of who we're going to go after. Right after that, I believe that was 2017 where the first attack on DACA came. And I knew that I had to step up. I knew that I had DACA, but DACA was only a band-aid to trying to fix or put a stop into a much bigger problem. But at the same time, there needs to be more voices that are elevated and fighting against the broken systems.
Have you met other actors who are also part of DACA, or other people that you've met throughout Hollywood or LA or through your travels?
I run this organization called the African Artists Association. I'm a board member. It's the3as.org. So a lot of African artists, and obviously immigration is an issue that affects Africans a lot. Immigration is a Black issue, but a lot of times we don't share our story. So I met some actors who told me confidence, like, man, I'm DACA too, man. Thank you for what you're doing. And then I'm like, yo, you know, you can share your story. It's going to put a human face to this issue. And they're like, you know, let me just chill. Because in Hollywood, I guess it's, or in the entertainment industry, people still don't understand it. I still get calls from casting directors like, are you legal? Can we hire you?
Right.
And I'm always telling them, look, I'm a DACA recipient. I have papers. I can work. I'm legal. But technically, the term is undocumented. So
right. You have work. I think the term is you have work authorization. You have work authorization. You are authorized to work. That's how I would. That's how I would describe it. Thanks for watching. For more Bradshaw Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.